Hey, welcome back to the Baker Brew. I'm Peyton.
And I'm Pete.
And we're going to be breaking down the final presidential debate that kicked off here in Nashville last night. It was a big night. So, Pete, do you want to talk about some of the big moments?
Yeah, I think there are kind of two key moments we saw. One was towards the very end of the debate where Joe Biden said basically that he would transition away from oil, and that's certainly a big issue in certain key states, and also puts House Democrats in an interesting position as well. We saw just last night two Democrats, one in Oklahoma 5, Kendra Horn, and also New Mexico 2, already come out against Joe Biden's comments. And then kind of going off that a little earlier in the debate, I thought another kind of key moment was when Trump pressed Biden on fracking and said, "You said you were against fracking." The vice president said, "No, that's not true." And the president said, "Okay, we'll put out the tape." And then the Trump campaign promptly put out a video from the primary where the vice president very clearly says he's against fracking, which, is a major issue in Pennsylvania, which is a state that will be key to the president's success. And the Biden campaign is paying significant attention to that state as well. President Obama was dispatched to the state just last week.
Yeah, I've seen that video circulating a lot on social this morning. Another big moment that I saw was when President Trump said, talking about Biden's 47 years in office or in public service, and saying, "You're the reason that I ran. Like, you and people like you are why I started running for president." Do you want to talk about the impact that that might have had?
Yeah, I thought that was a really interesting exchange, and also kind of worked to the larger almost theme and message of the night, and kind of going to the point, like, remember what got you there. And the president repeatedly said, "Joe, you've been here for 47 years, making the point that you're a career politician." At times, Biden very much sounded like a politician, and essentially making the point, and what do you have to show for it? In these last 4 years, I've done X, such as criminal justice reform. You talk about wanting to do this. Well, you were in the White House for 8 years and you didn't get it done. And kind of going to the brand that even though Trump is the president, he's not your typical politician, but Joe Biden is, which was a salient point from in 2016. And I know another thing last night that was people were talking about a lot coming into the debate was how would Kristen Welker and how would she be as a moderator? Do you want to kind of talk about that, Peyton? Because I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I think Kristen did a great job of reining in the conversation and keeping it on pace so that we were able to hear the actual policy agendas for each candidate. With the help of the mute buttons, that was something that I was a little worried about going into, because it could have either gone really great or pretty poorly, but I think that in the end it really helped smooth out the whole debate, and she did a good job again of reining it in and keeping them on track to answer the questions. She asked tough and fair questions with both candidates, whether that was on coronavirus, race, or even she snuck in a Hunter Biden question, which was something that I know a lot of people have been avoiding. So I thought she did a good job, and it did a fair job of asking questions and giving them equal time. So I know that this is the last debate that we have before going into Election Day. We're 11 days out from Election Day. So what do you think is the overall takeaway or the impact for voters as they're going into election?
I think one important point to make is that even though we're seeing early vote numbers, we're seeing a lot of people voting by absentee, but a lot of the voters that President Trump needs to win or needs to persuade haven't yet voted. They're Election Day voters, and they still haven't yet voted early. So I think that's, in terms of timing, that's important. And two, to kind of fully grasp the impact, I think we'll be a lot smarter Sunday or Monday once we kind of see the latest polling numbers and see what did this debate change or not.
Well, overall, I think it was a really good night for Americans, and for just understanding where we are as we're going into Election Day. It was a good day for Nashville. Our city looked great. It was cool having it right here in our backyard rather than being somewhere else. Belmont looked great, and there was a lot of friends of Baker Group that were there that looked awesome, and we're just really excited heading into Election Day. So thanks so much for joining, and happy Friday.